and hopefully it will be the last morning live. No, it's the last morning live for a week because we're gonna move on into our regular schedule, Monday through Sunday at 9 p.m. doing side splits and stuff. All right. Today, I think we're gonna go right back to yesterday's programming where we did some low back and hip mobility. No, am I even saying? What am I even saying? We're doing some low back stuff. All right, and maybe some shoulder and some mid back stuff. We're going to do a little bit of neck stretching to help you relax from a week's worth of slouching and hopefully get a little bit of relief going into the next week. Go. All right, let's go. We're going to get onto the floor. We're going to get some all fours. I'm going to move some flooring a little bit further that way so it covers the whole entire floor. And let's get ready to do some cat cow. All right. What I want you to do is drop onto your hands and knees. I want you to focus on sticking your belly button deep into the ground, lifting your neck up, and doing some cat cows. This is, I'm pretty sure, the cow. But every time I say this, I forget which one is cat and which one is cow. But we're doing the inverse now. We're going to try and round our backs. We're going to try and lift that mid back as high as we can so that oof, we get a whole bunch of mobility in the spine, giving ourselves some lovely, lovely movement oof, to help us move a little bit smoother. All right. There's not an exact number you need to do. We're just warming up the spine before we start doing heavy duty moving. We're going to try and get some range of motion in our spine. Once you've done a couple of those, your spine is feeling a little bit looser. Let's add a little bit of rotation. Usually on our side splits live, we do something called thoracic rotation by bending forward and rotating. Today, you don't have to do anything fancy. We'll just do it very, very, very literally. We're going to rotate. I want you to take your whole torso with you. I want you to try and keep your arms straight, out wide. And I want you to just look over your shoulder, rotate a little to the left, rotate a little to the right. And you might not feel that much in the spine itself. You might feel it more in your obliques as you force yourself to rotate. You might feel it more in your shoulders because your arms have to get held up. That is okay. We're just adding a little bit more movement for the spine, and a couple to the left, a couple to the right is plenty. All right, we're gonna do a couple other things to warm up the spine, get it ready for some exercise. What we're gonna do is slowly sit up nice and straight. All right. You can be actually seated, you can be kneeling, you can be sitting on the floor, legs crossed, whatever way you find comfortable. I prefer kneeling because I feel like I have an easier time shifting from position to position. But you don't have to be doing any particular way. We're going to sit back, relax, and we're going to lean in one direction. All right? Try not to lean back, try not to combine it. Just try to go to the left. Left. Oof. Try to let this side of your body relax. Maybe let your lats relax up here. Let your core relax over there. Slide a little deeper. Keep going. Inhale. Exhale. Oh. If you're having a little bit of trouble staying nice and straight, you might want to come over to a wall and try to keep your shoulders, your hand up against the wall while you lean over to the side. And that wall will more or less help you stay in that one plane of movement. All right? Other side. Just go. Oh man, this hip is tired. Nope. I'm gonna do it anyway. All right. There we go. sometimes you'll find that you'll get into a better stretch with different leg positions. Sometimes, when my hamstrings are real tight because I haven't done anything for them all morning, it's more comfortable for me to kneel than it is for me to sit and get into the stretch position. Keep going. Breathe, chill, sink a little deeper. And just like before, if you use the wall for support, it'll be a little easier to stay in that singular plane of movement. What I don't want you to do is a whole bunch of rotation. All right, there's a time and a place for that. Just not what we're doing right now. Cool. All right, we did a little bending to the sides. We did some cat cow forward and back. If you are in a professional setting, let's add some cat cow into your work life without looking crazy. All right, the cat and the cow is basically just arching the spine, right, and rounding the back, trying to get a whole bunch of range of motion. You don't have to be on the floor with your hands and knees on the ground for you to be able to do that. You can do a seated version, right? You could be in your office setting. You can pull against your knees. You can pull against the front of your chair to help open up your chest, help arch your back, look up. You can round. You can tuck. You can get into the opposite. Feel the stretch in the back of those muscles, all from a seated position. So you don't need to get into the position that inevitably gets me a whole bunch of unnecessary comments when I'm live. You don't have to do it like this. All right? All right. Now that your back is warmed up, nice and gentle, we're going to get a little bit of exercise done. All right? We're going to strengthen some muscles in the spine. And typically, when you have some pain, some discomfort, it's because some of your muscles aren't working super hard, aren't supporting you as much as they probably could. And it's not always the case, but more likely than not, a little bit of strengthening is going to help you out. All right, let's go ahead and come on down to the ground. Oh, lay on down. Oh, nice. All right, what we're going to do next is going to look like this. We're going to rest our hands so that our forearms are, where our forehead is. The fours together. Forearms and forehead. Maybe stack your forearms on top of each other. Elevate your head a little bit more. Do a little wiggle. Find a nice comfy spot for your hips to stick into the ground. They're going to stay there. And we're going to slowly lift our upper body up off the ground. We're going to inhale and come up. We're going to exhale. We're going to come down. And I think that's all the instruction I got. So let's do it. Come on up. Inhale. Lift, 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 lift. And come on down. Whew. That's one rep. You should feel it nice and strongly in your low back, but it should be going across your whole entire spine, or I guess up your whole entire spine. Up, 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 up. And down. Whew. That's two. Let's do maybe five. Flex those muscles. Come on, inhale. Up, 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 up. Oof. Down. Whew. That's three. Let's keep going. Up, 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 up. And down. That's four. And again, last one. Inhale. Up. Exhale down. Whew. That is called the back extension. When we do these, we are letting all the muscles in our spine fire to help lift us up. Those main ones are called spinal erectors. They are the things that basically keep your back nice and straight and upright. So those are really important to get strong. All right. We're going to continue. Now we're going to do our legs. All right. We're going to go and drop down in the body. I'm going to scoot all the way up here so you can actually see my legs. Ooh. And we're going to continue by lifting one leg up at a time. All right. Something that looks a little bit like this. If you are a participant of the normal live, this is very similar to the movement that we do for the hip cars, the very last movement where we Lift the leg up and back behind us, flexing the hamstrings, flexing the glutes, lifting, 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 and we're gonna do a harder version of it, because now we're fighting against gravity. All right, let's go. We're going to go ahead and lift one leg. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, lift, 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 lift. Adjust the other leg, adjust the hips so that you find a comfortable position to stay in. When you do it with one leg at a time, it's a little easier because you can anchor your hips. You can use your foot as like an extra part of a tripod to help make that lift happen. And we're just switching from side to side. There's no exact number that we're trying to do, but if you want it to be super structured, let's go. Lift and down. Other side. Lift. Lift some more. Lift hard. Bring those legs up and down. And lift. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. And down. And lift. And down. I feel like we've done around 5 or 6, so let's do 4 more. Up and down. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. Up and down. That's 7. Keep going. Up and down. Up and down. We are training your glutes and your hamstrings a whole bunch, but there's also a little bit going on in your low back. Hopefully, you've been feeling that getting progressively more tense as we go. I think this is 9. This is the last one. You all ready? Let's go. Lift. Up, 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 up. And down. Other side. Up. And down. Whew. That's it. That is some alternating leg lifts. Now, we're going to take a quick second to breathe. I'm going to take a quick second to chill. If you need to take a quick water break, go ahead and do so. I'm going to have some coffee. Give me a second. My mouth is dry. All right. Hopefully, you had a quick second. Add a little wiggling. Add a little shake. Get that spine moving. If you can rotate the hips around, either from a standing position or from a kneeling position, you can get a little bit of extra movement out of your back. Pretend like you're doing some hula hooping. One direction, the other direction. Keep going. You get a little bit of hip and a little bit of waist movement. See if you can pop one hip out. Get a nice stretch here. See if you can pop the other hip out. Get a nice stretch here. And now let's turn it into a dance life. We are just adding a little bit of motion to help your core get into some positions you probably don't get into very often. Ooh. And mostly because your low back is going to be super tired after lifting your legs and after lifting your body up. Just trying to change it up for a little bit before we continue with some more lifting. All right. All right, I think that's about it. Let's get back to lifting. We're gonna do a double leg now. All right. What we did before was alternating the legs. I don't know why I'm doing like this. It's probably like this. Now we're gonna do double leg lifts, and we're gonna really focus on sinking our hips into the ground because those are the main points of contact. We're gonna really focus on lifting. Your legs probably aren't gonna come up nearly as high, but I could be wrong. We'll find out. Actually, you probably can't see yourself. You only be able to figure out what I'm doing because you'll be able to see me, right? Okay, cool. Let's go. Ah, come on down to the ground. If you're tired, you can rest your head on your forearms, forehead on your forearms, and we're gonna get ready to lift those legs. All right. Do a little wiggle. Find a comfortable spot on the floor for your hips. Hopefully, you have a little tiny bit of padding, and let's get ready to lift. We're going to flex the glutes, flex the hamstrings. We're going to lift everything together. You're going to feel it in your low back as you lift. Go ahead and begin. Inhale. Lift. Hold. Exhale. All right. That was one sampler. Do another one. Let's go. Inhale and lift. Hold it. Exhale. And down. Inhale. Up. Exhale and down. That's 3. How we feeling? How am I feeling? Should we do 5 or should we do 10? We'll keep going to 5 and then we'll decide if we'll do 10. All right. Up. Inhale. Exhale and down. Whew, that's 4. Keep going. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Down. That's 5. All right. Let's keep going. Inhale and up. Exhale and down. That's 6. Keep going. Inhale and up. Exhale and down. That's 7. Experiment with different arm positions. You might find it easier to support yourself, easier to lift yourself with your arms in different places. Have fun with it. All right, let's go. Inhale, up. Exhale and down. That's 7, I think. Keep going. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 8. 2 more. Really flex those glutes, really flex those hamstrings, point those toes, lift those legs up. Inhale. 9. And last one. Inhale. Exhale and down. Alright, now that your glutes, your hamstrings, your legs are super tired, and you've been feeling it building up tension here in the low back, let's continue by combining everything that we've done together all into one super move. Alright? We're gonna put all of our weight into our hips. We're gonna lift our backs up. We're gonna lift our legs up. We're gonna do everything all at the same time. But before we do that, let's relax our backs a little bit. All right, let's get into some child's pose. This, I'm pretty sure, is a yoga position. If you sit back, get your butt towards your heels, and you kind of flop yourself forward, you might want to open up your thighs a little bit wider. You can get some extra relaxation here in the spine. All right. It'll feel real nice to relax after you've lifted your legs, lift your body up so many times, and take some time. Try to grow really, 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 really tall. Extend, 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 extend. Do a little whip, do a little shimmy, do a little shake. This is not a crazy big motion. It's just a little tiny bit of movement to see if you can get taller. Grow in. All right. Let's combine it. Let's put it together. We're gonna lift the front. We're gonna lift the back. We're gonna lift into one super banana thing, and it's gonna be crazy. Let's do it. Oh, come on down to the ground. Is this angle gonna make sense? Whatever. You can extend your arms in front of you. This is optional. You can lift everything together. You can get into a position that looks like this. Hold on. Let me wiggle and find a comfy spot for my hips. And we can do something that looks like this. Boom. Lifting your legs, lifting your arms, lifting your back all at the same time. Really try to come on up and then relax. If you don't want to lift your arms, you can feel free to focus on just your upper back. You can have your hands right beside you instead. You can focus on using your shoulder blades to bring your arms up behind you, or I guess alongside you. And that's it. Those are your options. Cool? Let's go. Relax. Drop your face, drop your legs to the ground. Get ready. On that inhale, we're going to lift up. We're going to hold for maybe 1 or 2 seconds, and then we're going to come back down nice and gentle. All right? Try not to flop into the floor because that might hurt. Ready? Let's go. Inhale. Come on up. Lift the chest. Lift the legs and down. Oh, that's 1. Keep going. I think we're going to do 10 on this round. Your back is going to be real tired. Keep going. Come on up. Inhale. Up and down. Whew. That's 2. Keep going. Inhale. And down. Whew. That is 3. I'm going to extend the arms and continue. Feel free to join me or continue doing whatever you want to do. All right, inhaling up and exhaling down. That's 4. Pause for a second. Breathe. Feel that tension in your low back. Maybe experiment. Give yourself a little bit of a massage. You might not be able to do anything for your spine anyway, but that's okay. Now you know where all that tension is going. All right, let's go. Number 5, let's go. Inhale and up. Exhale and down. That's 5. Let's go. 5 more. Inhale and up. Exhale and down. You don't have to look up super hard when you come up. You don't need to put all that pressure in your neck. You can keep it fairly neutral when you come up. All right, let's go. Inhale and up. That's 6. And down. Keep going. We got 3 more. 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, maybe that's 4 more. Inhale and up. Exhale and down. That's 7. We're gonna try our best to slow it down to finish this off with a nice intense back burn. All right. We're gonna come up. We're gonna hold for a couple seconds longer to wrap these up. How many seconds? I'm not sure, but I guess I should probably give you a number. Maybe 3 seconds. I'll count us in. All right. Let's go. Inhale. Up. 8. 1, 2, 3. All right. Come on down. Oh man. Whew. Counting makes it sound scarier. I feel like we were holding it for 3 seconds earlier too, or 3 counts earlier too. But now that I'm counting it, it sounds like it's more urgent. All right. Let's go. Number 9. Ready? Inhale and up. 1, 2, 3, and down. Oh man. Last one. We're almost done. Get ready. Inhale and up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, fine. We're done. That is a whole bunch of exercise for your back. Slowly come on back up into some sort of kneeling-ish position. We're going to get back into child's pose one last time. We're going to sit back on our legs. We're going to extend our upper body forward. We're going to try and grow from our hips. We're going to try and get taller and longer and grow. Try and get some relaxation. Put your forehead down if you want. If you're super tired, you can just flop here and chill for a little bit. All right? You don't have to actively try and grow. You can just relax. Whew. Breathe. Catch your breath in case you weren't breathing enough when we were doing the inhale, or I guess the ups and downs of lifting our body off the ground. And once your back has calmed down, we're going to move on to some next stuff. All right? One of the most frequent questions, not this week, but in the past couple of weeks, is, hey, my neck is blah. How do you stretch it? So we're gonna do a lot of neck stretching together. All right. Whew. I did this yesterday morning as well. Ugh. I'm gonna grab some coffee. I did this yesterday morning as well. We're gonna slowly go through a whole bunch of muscles along the neck and try and do it with as little stuff as possible. All right. Most of us are doing a little bit of this pretty much all day. Right. A little bit of head down, slouching. Whether it's you trying to be inconspicuously looking at your phone because your phone is like down here at your hips and your neck is super ultra ridiculously bent, or if you're at your computer desk. I don't even know how to replicate. What does that look like? We're gonna pop into a seated position ish. Our computers are probably around here. Our neck is looking down a little bit. If you're looking at your laptop, you're gonna be like this. If you're set up a little bit ergonomically, maybe your neck is a little bit higher. But that's a lot of extra setup. Most of us aren't actually set up, right? So, oh man, just practicing made my neck tired. Let's stretch it out. First thing I want you to do is find something to sit on if you can. I got a nice stool. Just pretend you're in real life, all right? Whatever chair you would normally be sitting on, go get your butt into that chair. Got a kitchen chair? Great. Awesome. You got a stool? Great. If you don't have anything, and you really don't want to get out of whatever situation you're in right now, you can take one arm. You can imagine it going boom, straight down into the ground. Imagine you're holding onto a bar, you're just keeping that arm stuck, and that should have this shoulder nice and stretched out because we're going to lean our head in the other direction. And you'll, maybe not, you start feeling a stretch across the muscle right away because you're fighting, you're pulling this down, right? Like if I relax the arm, that muscle goes away. If I really push the arm down, whole bunch of these things are starting to show up because they're getting into a stretch position. Now we're going to grab our head from the other side. We're going to give it a slight pull, a slight tug. And we're going to just breathe. And we're going to chill for a little bit, feeling that stretch directly to the side. Maybe 10 seconds. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Whew. Hopefully, you felt that nice stretch straight up along that part of your neck, coming from your shoulder. A nice stretch there. If you lean your head slightly forward and at an angle, and you pull on it, you're going to feel the stretch shift. Instead of here in the middle of your neck, it's going to shift backwards just a little bit. So go ahead and continue. All right. If you want to think of it as, I can't think of a funny analogy right now. Um, Yeah, none. I have no analogy. You're just rotating your neck a little bit to change the focus. You're sticking your hand, anchoring that other shoulder down, and you're giving a light, gentle tug, feeling the tension build in the back side of your neck. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Woo! Ah, all right. Now we got the back side and then the side. Let's do front-ish side. If you lean your head back ever so slightly, just a little bit, and pull to the side, you'll get a little bit of a stretch here. Don't have to pull hard. All right, this is just a gentle, gentle, gentle tug. We're not doing anything crazy. We're not going and yanking our neck back. All right, this is just a little gentle pressure. Again, with this hand, stick it straight down. If you have an actual chair, something you can grab the bottom of, it'll be a lot simpler. It'll be a lot easier. All I have to do is a little claw your hand just a little bit along the bottom of the chair, and you'll be ready to go. Otherwise, if you don't have anything, you can just think of sticking your hand in the ground. Imagine you're grabbing something. Really push that shoulder down, and that will basically get you the same thing. All right, pull that head back just a little bit. If you lift your chin ever so slightly, it's going to shift the stretch a little bit closer to the front. And go ahead. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, relax. That is your left side. And a little bit to the front, a little bit to the back, a little bit more relaxed. For a few seconds now, you're going to be just feeling the intensity of that stretch. Don't worry about it. Just let that chill. And we're going to start working on the other side. All right? Even it out. Okay? Let's go. Imaginary thing that you're holding onto. Stick that shoulder deep into the ground. Grab onto your imaginary something if you need that. If you have an actual chair that you're sitting on, grab the bottom of the chair and let's go directly to the side. We're rotating the head that way. Ready, let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Whew. That main muscle off to the side. Get a little bit of a stretch. Let's tuck our chins down a little bit. Still leaning to the left or whatever direction this is for you, depending on if the camera is mirrored or not on your end. And let's go. 10, 9, 8. Remember this shoulders come down. 7, 6, ooh, 5, 4, If the stretch is too intense, you can always come back. You don't have to keep going. 3, 2, 1, 0. Whew, that was crazy. All right, now we're gonna lift the neck. We're gonna lift the chin just a little bit while we're going in that same direction. It's gonna change the angle of the stretch. It's gonna put it a little bit closer to the front of your neck rather than the side, rather than the back. And let's keep going. Whew, 10, 9, 8, 7. This is gentle, all right? You don't really have to put that much pressure. You can probably get the same amount of pressure just by really trying to push your head away. You just have to work some muscles to do it, all right? Otherwise, just a little gentle tap with your fingers will do. 3, 2, 1, 0. Whew. All right, now that your left and your right side have been stretched out, let's talk about the back of your neck and the front of your neck. All right. You already noticed probably that when you lift your chin, you stretch out the muscles in the front of your neck a little bit. So let's do that. All right. I want you to sit up nice and straight for the most part. Doesn't have to be perfect. I want you to lift your chin up into the air. I want you to almost be looking slightly in front of you, but pretty much straight up. If you can, lengthen that neck. See if you can look up a little bit higher. Really lift that chin. My voice is going to change because I'm trying to lift my chin so high. And hopefully, you're feeling a little bit of a stretch into the front of your neck. See if you can almost look straight up above you or even a little bit behind you. And that should be about maximum amount of stretch you should be able to comfortably get into. All right, chin up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Woo! Ah, man, that's the front of your neck. But we got some stuff along the sides of the front of your neck. So you can also, when you're bringing your neck up, you can give it a slight angle, and you'll feel a little bit more on the sides. All right. Abdullah says, got some small headaches. Is that from the stretching, or is that you telling me that you have some small headaches, so you're excited about neck stretching? I'm For most of the life when I was on the mat doing the back stuff, I couldn't read the chat, but now that I'm super close showing you neck stuff, I can actually see the chat. So feel free to, from tilting the head backwards, that's okay. That's normal. Stand up straight, relax. It's normal in that if you get headaches from some of these muscles, it is very common to run into that. I was about to talk about that. But since we did it in reverse, okay, hold on. Let me let me restart this. These two muscles, these two big ones right here on either side of your spine, when they get real tight, they often cause headaches. So the next stretch that we're going to move into was trying to help stretch these out by bringing your head down, bring your chest down a little bit. You don't have to touch your chin to your chest. Think more of it as lengthening the neck because we want this muscle to lengthen. And see if you can bring the head down. You'll feel a little bit of stretch probably in your upper back as well as your neck. Try to focus on the neck. Feel those muscles stretch out a little bit. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Whew. Hopefully that counters out some of that head backwards tension. When you're lifting your neck up real hard, your back muscles, back of the head muscles, shouldn't really be kicking in super hard because they don't need to be. You're using your chin to lift. But oftentimes, it just happens because it's the counter muscle to the front. When you stretch this out, these have to contract a little bit in order to not actually contract, but they do shorten a little bit because you're bending backwards. All right, I think we have one last little bit right here in the front. QD asks, should you purposely try to keep the spine or back straight with neck stretches? It's not the end of the world if there's a slight curve in your back. It's not that big a deal. You can just try to relax and find a comfortable position. If you find that you're super rounded while you're doing the neck stretches, you're going to feel the stretch a lot more in the spine. That's not that big a deal because we're not holding these for very long, right? We do, for example, the cat cow earlier, and you get into basically a whole bunch of this, right? You're extending the neck back, right? You're feeling that stretch in the front of your neck. You're getting that arch in your back. You're trying to lift as high as you can, and you're doing the opposite too. When we do the opposite direction of the cat cow, and we lift that mid back up into the air, we're tucking our chin to our chest. We're trying to get super ultra rounded. We're doing it in other ways. And if it's perfectly okay to do in that way, it's probably okay for you to do it when we're seated, when we're working a little bit more on the neck component. If you have a little bit of bending, it's fine. If it's really extreme, if you catch yourself, getting into some crazy angles, maybe straighten it out a little bit, but otherwise, a little bit is fine. We want to make sure that if you're stretching out the neck, you're not just bringing your whole body with you because that's a whole bunch of extra movement that you don't need. Now you're sideways and maybe you get a headache and you're just sideways. That's not a good combination. Okay. Whew. What are we doing? Do we have anything left? Do we still have this front of the neck thing to do? If you find that you don't have issues with the back of your neck getting into a headache when you stretch out the front, feel free to lift up, angle the chin slightly. See if you can keep on lifting the chin until you feel a nice stretch along the other side, the remaining side of the front side of the neck, mostly front, just a little bit off the side. And let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. If you have not noticed, we're just leaning off to one side, like the opposite angle of whatever muscle that you want to stretch. We started kind of like on the left side and on the right side, and then we found some slightly different angles for each of those. If you feel there's tension in the back side ish area of your neck, you feel it coming up from your shoulder, feeling discomfort and pain, you can always just pull your head in the opposite direction, stick your shoulder down into the ground, and continue that way with a little bit of stretching. Help your neck muscles to relax. And since we're here, I guess we can hit that back diagonal of the neck. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And the other back diagonal. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. This isn't super precise. All right. You should experiment with where you're feeling the stretch along your neck. And since you do have that other arm, you can focus on bringing the shoulder down, but you can still touch and feel what's feeling tense, right? When you're getting that deep stretch, you'll feel the firmness of the neck muscles because they're getting stretched and they'll be nice and tight. Um, that was a whole bunch of stuff for our necks. Hopefully, you're feeling good. There's a lot of range of motion that your neck is capable of. For most of us, we're not using a lot of it, and we start losing some of that range of motion. All right. The main one that's super important for everybody who drives is checking your blind spot. All right. I know everybody's getting lazier and lazier these days. We're not checking the blind spot. We're just like doing a little quick glance and going, okay, we're safe. Merging into traffic. Hopefully, if that's you, you're just adjusting to all the safety features in your car. But otherwise, please check your blind spot, everybody. What we're going to rotate next is really try to bring our head neutral, all right, up and down. And we're going to Try and keep it level. We're going to try and rotate to the left. Look straight that way. Look a little bit further back if you can. Send those eyeballs into the back corner. And, if you're not checking your blind spot or you're not reversing like this and getting a whole back rotation, that's okay. You can get most of it out of your neck. Hopefully, you're not just whipping your neck and checking your blind spot. But the more comfortable you get doing this in slow mo, the easier it will be to do that quick check. All right? Keep the road safe. Keep on rotating from side to side. Just do a couple of these. We don't have to do very many. 10. As you get there, you're going to feel the tension in your back. You might feel some tension in the back of your head. If you need to pause anytime to stretch out something else, feel free to pause and stretch. I have absolutely no idea how many of these we've done. I feel like it's been 3 or 4, but I spent a long time looking at the left side. So maybe we'll just spend a whole bunch of time on the right side to even it out. Ooh. Ooh. Nice. All right, come on back. 5. You don't have to work as hard contracting those muscles. You can go a little bit faster. This is not the equivalent of whipping your head back and forth, all right? Just going a little bit faster, still with control. And you should be able to look directly to the left and directly to the right. All right, if you can get a little bit further and you can look a little bit to the right and behind you, great, awesome. But everybody should be working at least 2 directly to the left, directly to the right. Cool? Take your time. This is not a race. We're just improving our neck mobility person by person, right? And what else? Your neck is also designed to go backwards. All right, we kind of did this earlier when we were stretching out the neck, but you should be able to look basically straight up above you. You should be able to look even a little bit behind you when you lift your head up, because you got eyes, right? The eyes can angle up and down, so you can usually see a little bit behind you when you lift your head up if you have full range of motion in that neck. Feel free to give it a try, and then do the opposite. Don't just look up, look down. Bring your chin down to your chest. All right. Hopefully, it looks a little bit like this: chin to chest, and up, chin to chest, and up. Because we're working on this range of motion, try to keep your back relatively straight. Keep it from doing any movement. Because if we're running the test of can you see slightly behind you, and then you just bend your back like this, then of course you can see behind you because it's coming from your spine. It's not coming from your neck. All right. So take your time. Bring the neck down, chin down. Look down at the floor. Feel a little bit of relaxation here in the back of your neck. Feel free to poke and massage. Find those little dimples in the back of your neck. Give them a light squeeze, a light push. Make some little tiny circles. Come on down those 2 big muscles until you come into the tops of your shoulders. Give yourself a little bit more massage. Poke, poke, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. A lot of headaches. Some headaches. There's a lot of reasons for headaches, but some of them come from tension here in this set of muscles. So experiment. Figure out if that makes yours better. All right. Where are we going with this? Up and down. Chin to chest. Eyes slightly behind you if you can get there. All right. We're going to do a couple more of these. Work on that range of motion. Build up some control. You don't have to go fast, but you do want to move with control. And I have absolutely no idea how many of these we've done. So let's just call it after 2 more. Up and down and up and down and up and down. And I think that's about 2. I don't even count the 2. I was just going until I felt like I was ready. Hopefully, your neck is feeling a little more relaxed, a little smoother. There's one other uh, area that your head is supposed to be able to move that we haven't really quite touched on, and that is leaning from side to side. All right, you should be able to bring your ears down. You should be able to tilt your head You should be able to be like a little confused dog, you know. And what we want is not for you to tilt your head in all sorts of different directions at the same time. I want you to keep that head pretty neutral and tilt to the left, and boom, tilt to the right, and to the left, and to the right. This might be easier if you did it in a mirror so you can see that your head is not going all sorts of places, because a lot of people would be like, oh, tilt to the right. And then, you know, you'll be off axis. We're trying to go boom, so that you're just going straight to the right, and boom, straight to the left. Am I vascular? Not really. I'm like really not pumped at all. But thank you, I guess. Keep going from side to side, and you'll feel some of that neck stretching that we put ourselves through just a little bit earlier. And keep going. Whew. Ah, let's see. What did we cover? We did left and right. We did front and back. We did tilting from side to side. If you want, you can do some circles. I have heard some information saying that maybe it's not so great for you to do the whole entire circle. Honestly, it's up to you because there are a lot of people doing everything anyway. I imagine that it's one of those things where if you're slowly building up tolerance for the activity, you'll get better at it and it'll be fine. But those three axes of motion are definitely what your neck is designed to do. Back, forward, rotate, rotate. Other people tend to do something that looks like this, right? Letting the neck go through that full range of motion. I think the concern is that you might pinch something if you're doing a lot of those fast. You can do them depending on how comfortable you are. I have heard that maybe they're not so good for your neck. So, up to you. Cool? All right. What else? What else? What else? Hopefully, your necks are feeling a little bit looser. We had a question come in about upper back and shoulders for rounded posture. Um, a lot of the time, when your upper back and your shoulders are rounded, is because you spend so much time in that position that your back is relaxing into this rounded position. All right. So you actually have to fight it. You have to contract muscles in order to bring your chest and your neck back into a neutral position. So, what are some things that we can do about that? One of them is controlling the shoulder blades, being conscious of the shoulder blades. You got a big floating triangular bone right here, and it connects to like a dozen and a half muscles across your back. Connects into the traps, connects into the shoulders, connects into the lats, connects into all sorts of crazy things in the back. That is this angular lump thing on both sides. That goes like this, like this, like this, like this, right? The shoulder blade, this bony thing, is designed to do all those things. And when we are rounded and we're slouching, the shoulder blades are going out to the sides. All right. So, one easy way to help remind yourself of what you want to be doing is to try and bring the shoulder blades down and together. And that, when you get really extreme with it, is really useful for a whole bunch of calisthenics moves. It's really useful for pull-ups. It's useful for dips. It's useful for staying really strong in your back when you're trying to do stuff. But we don't have to get into those details. We're just trying to smooth out your posture a little bit. All right. So when you, for example, hang from a pull-up bar and you completely relax, your shoulder blades will go up, 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 up. All right. We want to fight that. We want to bring the shoulder blades down. If you were on a pull-up bar, if you're hanging from something, it would feel like your neck is appearing, right? It's this motion. But since you guys are probably not in front of a pull-up bar, we're gonna try and shrug our shoulders down, anti-shrug. If this is a shrug and your shoulders are all up in your neck and you're going, we're gonna do the opposite. All right, we're gonna go, bring the shoulders really far down. That is gonna help bring the shoulder blades down, and that's what we want. Next, we want to try to pinch the shoulder blades together. All right. If you need a little bit of help imagining what that looks like, you can take your hands, you can open up your arms like this, and you should feel some tension here in the center of your spine-ish area. That should be your shoulder blades contracting, pulling together. So those are a couple of movements that I want you to focus on. All right, I want you to focus on bringing the shoulder blades together because you don't need your arms to do that. But if you need some practice, you want to strengthen them up, and you need a little bit of support in figuring out how to do that motion. You can take your arms, you can open them up to the side, you can bring those shoulder blades together, and keep on firing those muscles. All right, that will help bring your shoulder blades together. And we talked about this already. Bring your shoulder blades down. Hopefully, that combination of things, practicing that, will help you find a position that's a little bit less rounded. But is that all I got for now? Okay, that's pretty much all I got for now. Cool. All right. Ugh. What time is it? It is 9:53. Wow, I can't believe 50 minutes has gone by already. Um, what have we done today? We did a whole bunch of back exercises, laying down, right? We did the lifting of your front. We did the lifting of your legs, and then we did both of them together. We did some relaxing in between. We did some neck stretching, stuff that you can take to wherever you gotta work and you gotta be stressed out and your neck is all rounded and stuff, and then you can add a little bit of stretching. Is there anything else? We talked a little bit about what the neck should be able to do. We talked about little things you can do to try and round out your posture, right? It's easier to straighten out your back when you know what muscles you're trying to look for, right? The shoulder blades, bringing them together, bringing them down, helps to straighten out the spine because if the shoulder blades are up and the shoulder blades are top, they tend to be a little bit more rounded. If you pull the shoulder blades together and you pull them down, you get a little closer. Your neck will still round. You're gonna have to lift your neck yourself, uh, but at least your shoulders will be. Natusha says leave America. Maybe in reference to the neck hump and the tech neck. Um. Oh, okay. That got a little racist, but all right. Let's see what else we got. My first non-splits live. Cat G says, "Is this the new 9 a.m. weekend format?" This might be the new 9 a.m. weekend format because I'm trying to get the side splits. All right, and I have found that my progress has stalled. Actually, the last couple of days, I got a little bit deeper, and I was like, "Oh, hey, that's new." Um, but I'm trying to take some time off of my hips to give them a little bit more time to rest, so that I can do the PM lives and add in a little bit more intensity. I'm gonna try and sneak it in on my end. You don't have to do the intense part. I'm not even gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna be doing slightly more intense stuff behind the scenes, even though I guess technically it's right in front of you. And hopefully doing some isometric work, doing some harder variations of the side split that will help bring me down a little bit deeper into the stretch. But those versions are a little bit more taxing on the muscles, a little bit more taxing on the nervous system. So I'm trying to ease back where I can on the intensity of the volume of life size split shows so that I can get a little bit more recovery in and hopefully make some more progress in the side splits because I want to finally finish them. It's halfway through the year, all right? I'd really like to have them done this year. I've been doing this show for a long time. I've been getting deeper, steadily getting deeper, but it's been a long time, and I'd really like to finish them this year. So that's the plan at the moment. I don't know if I'm gonna stick with just back and neck stuff. I didn't have much time to do prep because I didn't really think I was gonna change up the show until Friday night. So this is the format as it is, but it looks like it takes about an hour, so it's perfect. Um, I would love to transition a little bit into a basic bodyweight exercise thing on Saturdays, working on a couple of major muscle groups like push-ups and squats and stuff like that. We'll see what happens next week. All right. I'm gonna scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. Catchy says that was nice. Crystal says yes, thank you, and kisses. You're welcome. Um, Upper back, shoulder. I'm gonna check out what else we got. We got. Oh my God! Thank you from Achilles 7. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. QD says I've watched your live for 200 minutes. That's a lot. Thank you. Spine straight. We looked at that. Abdullah says thanks for that. I do have a stiff STN and cervical spondy. Um, that specific neck and back stuff, I don't have much expertise in. All right. So if you know you got something extra funky, perhaps you need to check with your doctor to make sure it's okay for you to be doing a little bit of movement because I really don't know specifics to make sure that these exercises are good for you specifically. In general, all the things I cover are things that the neck and normal people should be able to do. And hopefully be able to take that and adapt it to what you need. Cool. All right, let's keep going. Abdullah says I was feeling the headache from tilting the head backwards because you're feeling that tension building up, and that that is relatively normal. There are a lot of headaches that are basically just tension. A big chunk comes from these two big neck muscles holding up your head, and a bunch of them is like in your scalp, which is some craziness. You guys might benefit if you have lots of headaches from doing some light massage. Just give your head, scalp a little love, maybe a little bit more gentle than scratching, and see if that helps a little bit with your headache. I got no idea. I don't get regular headaches, so I don't actually think too deeply about this. But I have seen and I have read that there's lots of little different spots for different types of headaches, and several of them are muscle tension related. So hopefully you can give yourself a little bit of relaxation with some stretches. Let's see. It looked like we were having some lag, but Kat might have been having it by herself, which is good because I have spent a lot of time working on trying to make this Wi-Fi stronger, and I would love it if it wasn't my Wi-Fi. Art by Derek sends hearts. Travel Director says, "Good morning. Sorry I'm late. You're never late. We are working on building some consistency, adding some movement in, and that is all we care about." Michaela says, "Thank you, Ken. I appreciate this so much. I have scoliosis and do somatic stretches and breathing." Oh, amazing. Very, very cool. I hope that, having some time to do some stretching on the live helped you get right back into whatever thing that you'd like to do. All right. You don't have to do, like, if you're already doing something related to this, and you're like, oh, look, more back stretchy people, back exercise people, and you have moves that you prefer that you know are more helpful for you in your specific situation because somebody gave you a more specific routine than my general stuff, then please do that alongside us. You don't have to follow us exactly the way I'm doing it. I'm just giving us time to practice, giving our body some attention, some relaxation, some stretching, and hopefully that helps you out. All right, I'm gonna scroll back down and see what else we got. Um, whoa, whole bunch of comments came in. Oh wow, hold on. What's going on? So many things I haven't seen before. All right, I'm scrolling back down. Scrolling. JC says thanks you. Giraffe says, "Go be rude somewhere else." Thank you for the support, Giraffe. Travel actually says, "You're the best. You're incredible life." Oh, thank you. Cutie says the boo boos came out blocky time. So what I realized was I had the settings on TikTok turned to like an intermediate setting for automatically filtering out messages. And for some reason, I felt like it was blocking out some of the messages that were a little bit more like neutral, could have been genuine questions. So I turned back the filter a little bit, and hopefully some more regular comments that the algorithm or whatever has been mistakenly sorting as mean-hearted, mean-spirited started coming back in. And apparently, it went a little too far. There's only like three settings. The thing is like very strict, kind of strict, and then not strict at all. So I went from strict to not strict at all, and now we got some haters, but it's okay. I don't mind nearly that much. I just assume it's all bots because being angry helps. make people do stupid things. And I'm gonna just try to be chill about it. Felix says, "Love your live stream, man." Catchy sending. Oh, everybody's sending. Oh, this is why we're getting all of this love. I was like, wait, why is everybody being so nice all of a sudden? It's because we got angry people in the life. Maybe I should just keep that open. JC says you're appreciated. Uh, Neo Cirque says thanks you for the info. We got somebody trying to get a whole bunch of attention. I'm not sure what that's about. Therese says, sorry, Ken, thank you for being. Ah, it's all good. It's all good. Thanks for this. What are you healing from? I am healing from a lack of movement, I think. I have gotten lazier and lazier and moved less and less, and now I'm trying to get back into moving more and more. And at this point, we do a live every single day, Monday through Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we do some hip mobility and side splits. My hips have always been tight since I was like, I've known since I was like 13, 14, 15. I had friends who were like gymnasts or something. They could like stick their legs behind their head, and I used to wrestle. So whenever we'd like pin each other, positions that would have me completely stuck because I don't have that hamstring mobility, he'd just be like, "Oh, yeah, this is cool. I'm just that flexible." And I was like, "Damn, I should probably work on those hips." And lo and behold, I've ignored that for like 15 years. So now, um, I have gone on this journey to work on side splits, and I'm slowly making a bunch of progress. But you're not going to see any of that progress unless you come back tonight or the next 5 days, because Monday through Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, which is the exact opposite time from right now, is when we do our side splits and hip mobility live. Um, so feel free to hit follow, hit subscribe, and come back to watch that. I guess I was trying to figure out a quick tangent to put that in. I couldn't think of one, so that was it. Um, Nini Evangel says, and waist pain. Um, there is a lot of stuff going on in your core. Waist pain, I imagine for most people, you're talking about like something off to the sides. If you want to work on that, some gentle form of hula hooping probably would get a little bit of stimulation without putting you through a whole bunch of strain. And for most things, gentle movement that kind of touches upon your pain is going to help you get used to that pain, that it will help desensitize you to the pain, and it will help you slowly build some strength around wherever it is that is feeling weird. I think that's as specific as I can get for waist pain as a general term. MCV says, thank you for being here. You're very welcome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for the positivity. I appreciate it. Solo Macho says, I have vein ablation. Can we focus on legs next time? Yeah, absolutely we can. Um, Most of the time, we're doing side splits and hip mobility, so there's a lot of leg-ish stuff, mostly in the hips, not so much in the legs. And I was just trying to avoid that area in general, but I guess legs in general doesn't have to be hips related all that much. I can take it easy on the hips-ish and still get some leg stuff done. Yeah, that's something we can work on. The location close to the vein ablation still feels tight. Can you tell me more about that? Because I really don't know anything about vein ablation, and I'm going to have to do a lot more research. Feel free to shoot a message into the chat. If you prefer more privacy, you can shoot it into the DMs, and I will take a look. Maybe not right away, because I'm going to go spend the day with friends and family, but at some point I will address. Nini Evangel says, I have knee pain. If you have knee pain, you should probably be taking some exercise as a important option for tools that you can use to help with your knee pain. That was a really complicated sentence. Let me try that again. If you have knee pain, I recommend you find exercises that you can slowly do to work on your range of motion. All right. There's a dude on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, I'm pretty sure. If not TikTok, YouTube and Instagram. Those three options. Those two options. His username is the knees over toes guy. Right. It's all one super word. And he has a whole bunch of free content specializing in knee stuff. If you just look at his most recent videos, it might be a little bit all over the place because he's expanded his content to all sorts of other parts in the body, but his bread and butter is the knees over toes. All right, and the reason why, and I'll give you a brief preview of some of his content. The reason why it's called the knees over toes guy is because he wants you to focus on full range of motion, and I do too. All right, the knees over toes situation is basically this: your knee is past your toes, or over your toes, but basically past your toes. And the reason why we want that is because that is typically the only way for you to get into this situation where your calves and your quads, your calves and your thighs are touching. All right, this is basically the most deep range of motion you can get for that knee. And his signature move that he recommends is called the ATG split squat. ATG technically stands for ass to grass, so it just means really deep into the ground. Split squat is basically this. You're doing a little bit of a split. This back leg is extended back behind you. In the front, we're trying to keep the calf and the thigh touching. And for you to do that, most of the time, your knees are going to have to be over your toes or past your toes. And then when you come back up into standing, you've worked the whole range of motion that the knee should be capable of, right? If you were to do a really intense hamstring stretch, or sorry, hamstring stretch, quad stretch, you would be bringing your calves and your thighs together. If you sit back on your legs, you would bring your calves and your thighs together. So we're taking a very neutral position. If there's no weight in it, we're putting some weight into it and we're powering through, building some strength. All right. If you have a specific part of your knee that is very, 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 very uncomfortable, you can change this by elevating the front leg, right? The higher the leg is, the less weight you're going to have in it. And man, now I'm off balance because the yoga blocks are a little squishy. The less weight you're going to have in it, and the less flexibility you're going to need in your hip while still getting to knees over toes, calf touching the thigh. All right. And you should play around, experiment with that. The knees over toes guy has a whole bunch of other exercises that kind of support the knee. The ATG split squat, this thing is the main movement that works the whole entire range of motion. You can start really high up with that leg up, and as you get more skilled, you can come on down. You can try your best to make sure your calves and your thighs are still touching, and come on back up, right? So you can start from high, get lower. You can then add some weights in your hands if you want to get really strong at that position. For most people, if you get to body weight, you're probably doing okay for daily normal tasks. If you want to take it to a sporting level, you want to be able to jump really high, you want to be really comfortable with your knees, maybe you want to add a little bit of weight. Okay? You don't have to wait until you get all the way to really low to the ground before you add weight. For most of us, you are probably going to be strong enough to come all the way up with weight pretty early on in the process. The weight doesn't have to be crazy, right? And I'm not talking about like 50-pound dumbbells on each side. If you have 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds, it's a good place to start. You're building up strength in the squatting position and you're building up range in the knee. All right. So experiment, do both. What else? Knees over toes guy has a whole slew of other exercises. Most of them are for building the muscles around your knee so that you get a little bit more support from the muscles when you're jumping and you're landing and you're pushing off the ground. It's not just the joint smashing into each other causing you more knee pain, right? One of the big ones is calf raises. Calf raises usually look like this. You come up onto your forefoot, you come up onto your toes, and you come back down. There's two main calf raises that are going to be very useful, the regular one, and there's another one called the knees over toes calf raise. You got two big muscles in your calf. The first one, the first calf raise, that one works, the really obvious one that's like really high up in the calf. There's a second calf muscle that's a little less obvious. I have a little bit of a line here. That second one is a little bit deeper, and it only gets stretched when your knees are bent. All right, we talk about this a little bit in the normal side splits live, but when your knees are over your toes, you're going to feel that stretch in the deeper second calf muscle. When you're really fully relaxed, leaning into it, the top calf muscle is going to be not nearly as tense. If you poke at it, it might be a little bit less firm. And from here, I was like, why am I bringing this up? This is so weird. From here, if you do a calf raise in this position, you're going to work that second deeper calf muscle. All right. What I just demonstrated, this weird, crazy lean, is a little bit crazy. You don't have to do it that way. You can go lean against the wall. I guess I'll lean against this door. You can bend the knees so that the knees are over the toes. And you can do calf raises like this. All right. The further away you are from the wall, the more weight is going to be on the leg. You can do when you feel like 2 feet is too easy, you can move on to one leg at a time, knees over toes. The floor is kind of squishy, so that's not really good for my balance. I'm gonna not demonstrate anymore, I think, but knees over toes calf raise, regular calf raise. We always care about full range of motion, so as soon as you can do a couple of those confidently, you can elevate your foot so that the toes are a little bit higher, so you get into a nice stretched position when you're chilling, when you're relaxing, and then you can come on up into a full calf raise at the top. So in one move, you get both a stretch and a contraction. What else? What else? What else? There's one other move that gets a lot of hate and is weird on the internet sometimes. It's called the tibialis raise, and it's basically this muscle right here in the front. Its main job is to lift your toes up for the most part, and if you lean your butt against the wall, oh, this flooring is too slippery. Hold on. If you lean your butt up against the wall, you can stick your feet into the ground. You can lift your toes up. Whee! Some toesies. And you can drop your toes back down. Lift your toes up, drop the toes down. Lift the toes up, drop the toes down. It might not be super hard to do 3 reps, 4 reps, 5 reps, 8 reps, but if you work your way up to stuff that is related to like the number of steps you actually walk in daily life, like you start doing 20, you start doing 30, this will get really, 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 really tiring. If that is not hard enough for you, you can scoot your butt a little bit further from, or I guess scoot your feet a little bit further from the wall, scoot your butt lower down the wall, and that will suddenly get a lot harder. If that's not hard enough for you, another body weight variation, the final body weight variation, is you can do it with one leg. All right? Really focus on contracting that muscle in the front of that leg and lift the toes up towards your knees. Whew, that is some tibialis raises. So what do we cover? We cover the ATG split squat, the main thing that helps you hit your calves and thighs, put them together, push out of it, fully extend the leg, build strength along the whole range of motion. We covered the calf raises, both the regular calf raise, where we just go up, the stretch to calf raise, the more intense variation. We covered the knees over toes calf raise. And because you're gonna already be at this crazy angle, you're already gonna be in kind of a calf stretch. You don't need to elevate the toes much more. You can just lean further and further away from the wall to get into that angle when you do the calf raise, right? Um, what else do we cover? Tibialis raises. And the way we make all of them harder with just body weight is we do it off one leg. All right. If you have weights, if you have something to use, feel free to use both legs and keep doing them with both legs because it'll be a little easier to balance. And that is all I got for knees. Those 4 exercises are things I've actually used to help with my left knee. I had some knee pain sort of here on the outside of the knee because I was competing against my brother many, many years ago. We were doing pistol squats. We were racing to do these. See that I'm not even demonstrating on this knee because I know that it's the it's the knee that gets a little weird sometimes. Um, and for a long time, I wouldn't have very serious knee pain. It would just be a little naggy, a little annoying whenever it rained or it was about to rain. I'd feel it on really humid days. I feel a little bit of weirdness right here. And I basically did those 4 exercises. And yeah, for the knees, those 4 exercises for about 2 months. And the nagging pain went away. But I've not been consistent with those. It's been about 10 months. Oh, no, it's been like 11 months now at this point since I have done those exercises seriously. And sometimes I do have a little bit of nagging sensation. I'm not sure when it is. It's not humidity anymore, so that's good. But, something else, sometimes if I run a little bit, that part of my knee will act up again. So I need to get back into it and hopefully that is helpful because we went on a big knee tangent. All right, let's go. Reading here says, Ken, I hope you're doing amazing. Amazing, thank you. Whew. Akila says, I felt that one. Hopefully, you were talking about the calf raises. Soul Matcha says, small incision and thin catheter. Okay, got it. Vein ablation inside the upper leg closes the faulty vein with heat and laser. Oh, what? That's what that means? Think of it as permanently closing a worn out road so traffic can use better routes. Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know that was a thing. That makes sense, though. Thank you for explaining it in that way, because that is a very easy to understand, like single sentence concept. Kaji says his ATG program is so good. It is very, very, very good. His ATG program, by the way, knees over toes guy. I'm going to backtrack one more thought. Uh, it's basically completely free. He talks about all the exercises that he does in some way or another. One of his videos from like a year or two or maybe 3 years ago at this point is like, these are the exercises I would do for the rest of my life. Or like, this is how I program for living. Something like that, like living related, life related. And it covers a whole slew of exercises across the whole entire body. Those are all really good exercises for general health. All right. Most of us, we're not going to go become athletic Olympic athletes no more. Most of us, we're not going to become ballerinas. We're not jumping 6 feet into the air, jumping into splits and landing. We're not doing martial arts and jumping into splits and then landing on the floor afterwards, right? We're not doing as much of those things. So that workout, which is a lot more moderate, which generally has a really good body weight variation, is going to be really good for you to do. So absolutely check out his stuff. His free stuff is really good. You don't have to pay any money. Everything is free. And yeah, if you got knee pain, definitely check him out. If you have other discomfort, feel free to check him out. All right, I'm gonna scroll. Let's see what else we got. Travel with Roxy is answering questions. Uh huh. Do 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 do. Oh, amazing. MLE says, I knew neck stretching. I have medical issues I'm aware of, though. It's nice to revisit. Amazing. I'm glad it was helpful. And um, what else? D says, "Oh my God, haircut!" Sorry to change subject. Yeah, I got a haircut a couple days ago, and it's nice. Makes me look not like a hobo. Crystal says, "You stretch 45 minutes twice a day. Nice. Um, only on the weekends, and kind of. The regular evening live, Monday through Sunday, is just at night. Um, Monday through Sunday, it's 9 p.m. Eastern time, which is like 10 hours and 40 minutes from now. That's going to be hard math. 10 hours and 40 minutes from now is our regular scheduled side splits and hip mobility live. We do that every single day. I've probably done, oh man, 400, 500, 600 episodes at this point, 600 days worth. I don't actually know. It can't be that long, right? I started November of 2024. What year is it now? It's 2026. We're in June. So it's at least a year and a half. A year and a half is like 500 plus days. Okay, so maybe it is 500 plus shows. Um, Something like that has been going on. Oh my God, I'm past a year and a half. I still don't have the size. It's disappointing. Okay. uh, Yep, Crystal. Travel with Roxy has responded to you, and Keji is saying that ATG program is good. Sol and Matcha has explained to me what the small incision and catheter is for the vein ablation, and we got people feeling some stretches, feeling some exercises. I think that is just about everything in the chat. Reading Hero says, Ken, I hope you're doing amazing. Thank you. Shrez says, I'm off to work. Have a good day, Ken. Goodbye, Shrez. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the emotional support when we have haters. I appreciate you. And I think it's time for me to wrap up too, because I got to go enjoy the weekend. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. In about 10 hours and 40 minutes, we got another live. That will be the standard live where we're doing side splits and hip mobility, getting our legs to work a little bit better, working on practicing that consistency. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Cool. All right. Hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. I don't think I have anything else to say because I have rambled on and off about all sorts of crazy things today. And I'm going to wrap right here. Leslie on YouTube says, Thank you, Ken. Enjoy the day. Thank you so much, Leslie. Oh, we got 6 people on YouTube still. Hi, people on YouTube. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we have a regular side split show in the evening at 9 p.m. I'll check you guys out then. All right, I think that's it. Getting a whole bunch more live in the chat. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you all soon. Closing out, hit follow, hit subscribe, and do all those cool things. Okay, bye.